Thanks for joining yet another series of unscripted videos here at Inspirage. My name is Sunil. I'm a solutions architect with over 15 years of experience in Oracle supply chain solutions. And with me, I have Gayathri. Between me and her, she'll be discussing on Oracle solutions, specifically around order to cash within order management and AR or accounts receivables, that is. And over to you, Gayathri.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Sunil. I'm Gayathri. I'm with Inspirage for the past 10 years now, and my expertise is around order management, procurement, and some of the SCM modules. Today, we are going to talk about a particular topic in the order management area about service mapping from order to accounts receivables and procurement, receiving, shipment, and other modules.
Okay. So tell us more about what kind of business benefits or how would it benefit and what are the kind of typical use cases that we come across around this using this functionality, Gayatri?
Yeah, this is a framework given by Oracle, basically, to send some information from order to order management to other modules. Like, for example, we have an order and we are orchestrating it. And if we want to send some additional information to the receivables module along with your invoice, any additional information that we capture or anything that is not in going into that accounts receivable invoice, we can actually take that information from order management to uh, not only accounts receivables, also via top ship to a procurement module and to shipping as well. The use cases would be like, let's say I have a contract start date and end date that I have in the order,
Hmm.
and if you want that to be in the accounting start date, providing that if we have an accounting rule in place, then we can take that information through service mapping and pass it on to the accounts receivable invoice interface. So
Okay.
this also some cases like in procurement, if I have to give you an example, for a drop ship, if I have the customer PO that is captured in the order screen, and if you want to pass it to the into the PO screen, then that is also possible. Like if we capture it in the order management as a descriptive flex field or an extensive flex field, that also can be passed on to the other modules. So we have this feature enabled for four areas where accounts receivable through for invoice, drop ship POs, receiving, and shipment. So if I have to give you an use case for receiving, let's say if I want to capture the lot number for the material that we are returning, so we can do that either. Similarly, if we want to pass on a shipping instructions, packing instructions through shipments, that's also possible. So these are some of the use cases.
Okay. So let's take an example that you just told us initially, wherein you can basically take a piece of information at the order capture and try to have that cascaded all the way down to invoices in accounts receivable. Are there any specifics that you have done in the past, like any piece of information that was passed down to receivables and how that got used eventually?
Let's say in a business case where I have in accounts receivable for the accounting rule to be derived, if I want the country code, it's captured in the order management screen as an additional information, let's say an extensive field. So this service mapping where it actually has an payload where I build a payload which takes the information from the order management and integrates it to a descriptive flex field in the accounts receivable invoices area. So that I build a payload which connects the information to pass from here to there. Then based on that DFF flex field, I can derive an the accounting rule.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it, got it. So what you're telling me is there is a piece of information called country within Oracle's order capture systems by the way of capturing as a EFF or an extra field. Okay, and then that is eventually cascaded down to invoicing, and then that is used in accounting within AR. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
So
okay,
when you have an accounting rule derived based on a country, Another case, I know in this particular service mapping is actually is much it's a pre-built one where, like, I would say much of the attributes that are there is already available. So we can actually, if you want a simple date that has to be passed, let's say I have a non-shippable item, a shippable item within the order,
Right.
and when you invoice them, the actually the current setup is like in such a way the actual ship date will not be there for a non-shippable item, right? Because and the invoice is set up in such a way, the invoice generation date will be based on a shippable item actual date. So to just have a non-shippable item and shippable item to invoice together, if I want just the date to be, considered as a as together, I can just use the attributes that is already available and just prepare a mapping and payload. So
Okay.
now the transaction date will be the current, I would say the invoice generation date, and that way you can have the invoices together.
Understand. So we are trying to streamline even the dates between the shippable and on
Exactly.
non-shippable lines
Right.
using this feature. Okay, you're talking about service mappings, you're talking about EFFs. Um, Between those 2 points, right from the inception till completion of this solution uh, for a given client, what kind of expertise one needs to accomplish this, Gayatri?
Right. So this particular this requires a groovy code, if we are going for any complex logic. um, if it is a simple concatenation, or if like I said, if there is any simple feature that, attribute that you have to just pass on, then it's we need just it sits on the pricing administration area, so it uses the same logic. If
Okay.
we are going for any complex logic, like I said, to map two various view objects that are sitting in different view objects, then we might need a Groovy script to be able to map it.
Okay, so Groovy scripting knowledge is a must-have for this. Okay,
Yes.
great, thank you. And how about any licensing requirements, Gayatri, to achieve this? Do we need? Does the client have to buy a separate license for this?
No, there's no additional licensing required. As long as
Okay.
we have the order management licensing, this should work. Like I said, it actually is available in the pricing administration work area. It
Mm-hmm.
just uses that framework, but it's not related to pricing, just uses the same
The
logic
frame,
as.
same similar framework. Okay, got
Yeah.
it. So you mentioned about couple of functional areas. One was definitely the invoicing or the accounts receivable piece. Another was procurement, and then the inventory piece to it, right? So these are the three important pillars within supply chain in conjunction with order management is how we are looking at. Is that the right understanding?
That's right. So also we have the option to either enable this and or disable this. So only if you enable, so we have four options to be precise. One is
Hmm.
accounts receivable, where we will be sending information predominantly to the invoices.
Right.
Second one is procurement, where you send the information to a dropship PO like packing instructions or any customer PO or something like that. Then the third one is to shipments, where when you perform the order to fulfillment, then you will send further information to that. Then the other fourth one would be the receiving, where you have a written material authorization and you have some additional information that has to be passed on to the receiving area. So
Okay.
four options that we have.
Okay, great. Well, that sounds pretty exhaustive, and our order management seems to be covering most of the areas where we generally come across, in our business requirements and business use cases. So I hope people make the most use of this. And thank you for all the information that you imparted, Gayatri. Appreciate it. And thank you, everyone. If you would like to learn more about it, please do reach out to us.